Another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please hit the great big subscribe button down below. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. And if you don't already know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of Asexual Perspectives, 47 Asexual Stories, Love, Life and Sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexualizeacademy.com and asexualize.com. And don't forget, as we go along, to give this video a thumbs up if you're liking it. So today, I want to talk to you about the struggles of being an asexual cougar. So loads of people have bad ideas about the word cougar. They think it's a really bad word because it usually means older women that like guys for sex. That's what generally society sees it as, but I don't see it as a bad word. I just see it as the term for an older woman liking a younger guy, you know, wanting a relationship with a younger guy. And from the research I've done, it seems that the guys that like the older women are the ones that have the really high sex drive. So it's not just a case of women using the boys for sex or the younger guys for sex. It's a case, well, I say boys, obviously I mean younger guys, you know, not underage, I'm not talking about. Usually the guys are in their 20s. And so, you know, and so what I'm trying to say is, you know, just like they put the word cougar, there's a stigma around the word cougar, and many people don't like it because it seems as though a woman who wants guys for sex, you know, wants relationships with them for that. It's the younger guys that are attracted to older women because they love the sex as well. Do you see what I mean? It works both ways. Now, people don't usually call themselves an asexual cougar. I think I'm the only one in the entire world that I've so far seen that actually writes in their profile and talks about being an asexual cougar. But I think it's so important because it's really hard for women who like younger guys in the asexual sphere to actually be taken seriously and to actually be understood and to find a good partner for them. So what's a sexual cougar? So I've told you what a sexual cougar is. It's usually a woman that wants to have a relationship with a younger guy, and it's usually of a sexual nature. So what's an asexual cougar? An asexual cougar is a woman who likes younger guys. They're in their 20s usually, but it can be, you know, it can be older than that, but basically usually a lot younger than them. And they want a relationship with them, but without the sex. So in my case, as I'm a romantic asexual, I would want to be with a younger guy and kissing and cuddling with him, but not having sex with him. So society seems to still think it's okay for guys to be with much younger women. They don't seem to have the same problem with it. There can be 15, even 20 years or more age gap. I've looked on YouTube. I was researching last night. Some of them have got like, you know, some of the guys are double the age of the girls. Some of them are like 30 years difference. And, excuse me, there's, you know, that's seen in society as maybe a little bit weird. But, you know, it's kind of like if a guy's with a woman who's younger, it's kind of like a pat on the back. Good for you, son, you know, good for you doing that. You know, look what you've got, a gorgeous woman by your side, you know, a pretty young thing type thing. That's how society sees it. And there's still this sort of like stigma surrounding women liking younger guys and wanting relationships with them. Now, obviously, there's quite a lot of celebrities, older female celebrities that like younger guys that sometimes they're in relationships with guys that are like 15 years younger than them. So it is better than it used to be. But why do I like to call myself an asexual cougar? Because it stands out. You know, it immediately says to someone, oh, she's into younger guys. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if it was, if I just put like younger guys, it doesn't really have the same effect. Do you know what I mean? Asexual cougar kind of like stops people who are my birth certificate age or older from approaching me usually. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't want to get that. And it's really difficult as an asexual person. When I do research, you know, I do like to see videos of how relationships work out between different age gap couples. I see a lot more where men are with younger women, and it does seem to work out really well. And I see quite a lot that are happily married and it works out well for them. And I love reading the comments on those videos, because you know, they usually, oh yeah, well, I'm with this person, there's 15 years age gap between us, it's really good and everything like that. So that's great. But what I saw when I looked at the woman with the younger guy, there wasn't that many videos where the younger guy and the woman's actually really in love and really cares about each other, and they're in it for the long haul. There was quite a lot of foreign videos with foreign guys, actually, where the foreign guy's with the woman just literally for her money and to get a visa and stuff like that. And that was really heartbreaking, you know, because I don't want a guy like that. I'm not interested, even though I like younger foreign guys. So this poses the first problem, is I'm asexual and I want a younger foreign guy to be in a relationship with, but I'm not interested in marriage. I don't want him coming over here and getting a visa out of me. You know, I'm serious when I want a younger guy. I'm not making it up. I'm not, you know, like just saying it. I'm seriously want to be in a relationship with a younger guy, because I'm super attracted aesthetically to younger guys. I feel more comfortable around them. I did manage to find one video last night, not asexual, obviously, because I don't think there's hardly anyone that speaks about asexual age gap love relationships. I think I'm pretty much probably the only one that, you know, I can actually find a video about, you know, for my own channel. But I came across one where an older woman was with a younger guy, and they've been together like 6 years. Well, now they've been together 7 years, and they've just had a pagan wedding ceremony. I think it's pagan. Is it pagan? Yeah, I'm just looking up there. So they've been together a long time, and they documented their relationship on YouTube. And they're very, very, like, she's quite screamy. You know, she says my channel's a bit cringy, but she's got loads of views, like 23,532 views. But they don't just talk about their relationship, but they got a playlist about their relationship. And she's, wow, yeah, she's much older than him. And there's quite a big, there's 19 years age difference, but there's kind of like 18 years and 10 months. So there's like 2 weeks. They're 19 years age difference, but only by 2 weeks, should I say. So she was explaining it. I'm not saying it very well, but basically their birthdays like are very similar, near to each other, all by 2 weeks. So scrap the you know, the 10-month thing. Just think of it as they're 2 weeks difference between them in age. So basically, you know, they're slightly less age amongst them for 2 weeks, basically. So it's like an 18-year age gap for 2 weeks. They're explaining the reason behind that, because apparently they were saying that between 18 and 19, that, you know, this is a sexual relationship, you know, that the sex changes then. So, it was, the only thing was that was quite heartbreaking for me as an asexual to watch that, is it you know, the guy does like older women, but he's really into sex. I mean, she's fine with that, you know, but I wouldn't be. And there was a guy I managed to find on the internet, and he's in his 20s, and he likes to date like older women, like 60, 70, 80, 90, even dated it was in a relationship with a 91-year-old. I mean, even I'm like, whoa, that's way, like 50 years difference. I'm not looking for someone who's 50 years. I mean, I'm not even that old, you know what I mean? So that's, you know, far out, even for what I think. But, yeah, and you saw him kissing them and all sorts. So he likes really old women, wrinkly women, auburn hair. And I thought it was lovely what he said, though, because it just shows you that everyone likes something different, you know, different body types, different hair types, different eye colours, different ages. And I think it's so important to remember that. And as an asexual, I really, really do struggle with finding an asexual guy for a relationship, a younger guy, because I can easily get a younger foreign guy, but they want sex. They're sexual, you know? And so if I liked sex, if I enjoyed it, I'd be able to take my pick of really young foreign guys in their early 20s, and I'd be able to go out dating them, have sex as much as I want. But it's heartbreaking when you know that these people, that's what they want, sex. And you know, there's people in happy married relationships, but it's the sex they love together. And it seemed to me that, you know, this younger guy in his 20s who likes dating older women, like from 60, 70, 80, 90, he likes the sex. He likes all the sexual stuff with them. Because he's like, those women are just as horny as someone who's in their 20s. But he went out on his mate fixed him up with this date of a young girl who's very attractive to a lot of guys around his age. And he wasn't interested. He's like, oh, I don't mind having her as a mate, but I'm not attracted to her. And that's like how I feel about older guys, or guys near my birth certificate age. Or, you know, I feel that, you know, friends, maybe even really close friends, maybe I want to hug them, but I just don't feel attracted enough to them to be in a relationship with them. And the older they are, the more I feel like I don't want to be intimate with them. I don't want to be close to them. It doesn't feel right to me. It only feels right to me with a younger guy in his early 20s, you know, and mid 20s. I've had, you know, in the past I've dated foreign guys up to the age of like 21 to 28, and that was a nice age range, you know. Sometimes if they start getting in their 30s, they're just too old for me, because they're getting obviously nearer sort of my birth certificate age. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like weird, because I feel like I'm 1% of the 1% of asexuals around the globe, and it's so difficult to find someone. Like, it's really weird. It's like, if I was sexual, it's not a problem if I was into sex, but I'm not into sex. And so it's like, I just think it's such a shame that as an asexual person who doesn't want sex with a younger guy, which is what, you know, traditionally a sexual cougar is, a woman seen as a woman that wants a guy for sex, but clearly after I saw those videos, it's a guy who wants the older woman for sex, not just that way around. You know, it's just sad when it comes to not wanting sex that it seems like younger guys aren't so interested. And yeah, I guess the world is full of young, hard, you know, horny guys that age, but there must be the equivalent of those guys in asexual terms. There must be a number of them, because I can come across a number of foreign sexual guys that are into older women. But you know, it's the thing is it's a fantasy a lot of the time for a younger guy who's sexual. His fantasy is to make love or have sex with an older woman because she's more experienced than him and she can teach him things that he's not used to a young girl doing who's naive and doesn't know what she's doing. So, you know, she can do things, an older woman can do things to his body. It can, you know, and they can have in-depth conversations, but you can still get the conversation from an asexual person, you know. You know, the benefit of a younger guy being with me is obviously I do have some experience and knowledge of different things that I can teach him. Not just, you know, not just physical stuff, but I don't want to do too much physical stuff. You know, the kissing I can teach him. I'm very good at kissing and, you know, like kissing the upper part of the body as well and stuff like that and making him tingle. But you know, I can teach him a lot of stuff because I'm intelligent, do you know what I mean? And I've got lots of experience. But at the same time, then I'm really young for my age, birth certificate age. You know, I like theme parks, zoos, aquariums. I like clubbing. I like kids' books, even kids' movies, actions, superhero movies, cuddly toys. I'm very, very young. So really, I'm like the young one in the relationship. Like, I come across some guys who I talk to who are asexual, actually. And they start saying to me things like, oh, yeah, I like 80s music. I like classical music. I like soul, you know, like I like some blues music, and I'm thinking this is like old music to me. Like some of the stuff they like, my friend who's older than me, my best female friend, she likes, and some of that stuff is just older for me. Do you know what I mean? And when they talk about, I'm like 80s. I mean, like the most I usually go back that I really like is the 90s. Do you know what I mean? That's my era, which is basically the same era as most guys in their 20s. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm kind of like very, like I said, I got a 21st mindset, live like a teenager. So a lot of the time, like I balance the person out. And, you know, I've obviously, there was another video I watched where the guy made some comments about what the younger guy needs to be like. And he does need to be mature for his age, in the sense that he needs to be responsible to have a serious relationship. He needs to know what he wants and be very clear and defined, which a lot of younger guys aren't. He needs to be able to, you know, be super intelligent, really, you know, someone who's grounded and can master a lot of things at once, someone who can work on lots of projects at once, someone who can multitask, if you know what I mean, someone who can really be an adult in a younger body, I guess, and I can be the young girl in the adult birth certificate age, if that makes sense. So you kind of meet in the middle. Like they were saying with the age gap relationships, the hardest thing they find, it's not really a problem, is the woman likes older music and the guy's like, what on earth's that? But you know, the music I like is usually really young music, and they're like, and the guys I talk to are liking older music. I'm like, that's like my parents listen to. Or, you know, they'll say some movies or some TV programs, they like, particularly TV programs. I'm like, my parents watched that. I watched that because I had to as a kid. I was sat in the lounge with them and they were watching that. I was so bored. It was so old and boring. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I'm the younger one. It's like they're the much older one than me. But, you know, so that's kind of hard as well, because I meet the younger guys that are like not mature enough to know what they want, and their life isn't defined yet. They don't know if they want a partner or not. They don't know if they want kids or not. They don't know if they want marriage or not. And then, you know, I come across the guys who are younger that are also really old for their age, but too old. Like, they like really old music, and they like sitting in watching TV programs that my parents watch. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to be with a guy who watches the same TV programs as my parents. I get bored by stuff like that. It's just like old stuff to me. It's like, why do you want to watch that? I mean, obviously each to their own, you know, everyone's entitled to like what they like. It's just me personally, this is some of my struggles as an asexual cougar, particularly one who's very different and unconventional, because I'm really, like I said, I feel like I'm a teenager. Like, one of my asexual friends messaged me on meetup.com. It took me ages to message him back, and we haven't messaged each other for a while. Like, he hasn't replied for a while. And he was like, oh, when you were kissing that foreign guy, Sandra, and it was a heterosexual one I had a date with several months ago. You know, the one I got a chest infection through kissing, because he was a smoker and I was tongue kissing him, and the nicotine went in my mouth. And so it's like, yeah, he goes, oh, you must have felt like a teenager when you did that. I find it quite amusing in that way. And I'm thinking, well, I'm still a teenager. Just because I'm in a birth certificate age doesn't mean to say I'm not like a teenager. To me, I'm still a teenager. When he says that, it makes me think he's really old. But he's about, I think he's 24. He talks really old sometimes, the things he says to me. And you would have thought he was the older one. If I was putting what I say and think next to what he says and thinks, I look at it sometimes and think, God, you're just so old, you know? Like, you're 24, and he says sometimes, he goes, oh, I thought about doing this, but I'm too old for that now. And I'm thinking, you're 24. You're 24. Do you know what I mean? You're not old. But then other times, like I said, he acts really old. When he said, oh, I bet you thought you were a teenager ago. I'm thinking, I'm still a teenager. You know what I mean? All right, in birth certificate age, I maybe not. But, you know, birth certificate age is neither here nor there for me. It's just a piece of paper, to be quite honest. It's absolutely nothing like my personality, which is why it irritates the heck out of me sometimes. But, you know, him saying that to me, I'm thinking, I am a teenager. You just don't understand me. And I find a lot of people don't understand me. They don't get me. They don't understand the way I think. They don't understand my life. But then they don't have to, do they? Who gives a toss? Do you know what I mean? Who cares if they don't agree with me, like me, or think the same as me? It doesn't really matter, does it? I understand myself and know myself. It's just very hard and a real struggle when you desire a romantic relationship like I do, because you want someone to come into your life who's going to be like a good partner for you, who's that younger guy, in my case foreign, who really understands you, who's serious about you, who really likes being with an older woman, but not multiple older women like sexual guys often tend to do, but, you know, just wants one older woman. And they want someone who'll be like a really good fit for them, like have intelligent conversation. They'll like me from my conversation, my experience, but they'll also like all the youth stuff about me, you know, all the kissing, cuddling, teenager style stuff, you know. So yeah, it's really difficult. It just seems like with asexuals, a lot of the guys, especially in the UK, they're quite adverse to having relationships with an older woman. Like if I approach a guy in the UK, a lot of the time, like if there's quite a big age gap, it'll be sort of like, talk to me for a bit, be like, but you know, they're not interested. Whereas obviously if I talk to younger foreign guys abroad, then who are asexual, they're interested. But I think, you know, a lot of them might just be after visas and marriage. In which case, you know, my friend, not my friend, my cousin, she worked at a hotel and she used to employ foreign people. And they used to specifically get married to older women for a visa. You know, it's ridiculous, but that's what happens. Anyway, I'm going to flip you round now and just show you a picture on YouTube of a young guy with an older woman, because it's what I was looking at. So this is a couple that I was talking about. She's the older woman and he's the younger guy. And it's older women dating younger men. And this is like their playlist. So this is when they first started going out together. Obviously, I don't own the copyright to this.
Very nice. So we are here to make a video about us, our relationship. I have a subscriber that asked me to talk about our relationship because I am an older woman dating a younger man. And see, this is what he is. He just was curious about that. So we're going to do several videos about it. In this video, we're just going to center on how we met. I am 46 years old and he is
28.
And so we met when he was
I was 24.
24 and I was 42. And so it was just, I didn't mean to meet him. For me personally, I had just gotten out of that relationship that kind of breaks you in two. I don't know if any of you have ever had that kind of relationship. I know a lot of us have, and it was what was needed. I needed to be broken into because I was very codependent and a mess. And so we had broken up, and I'm not someone who's alone for very long. Someone seems to gravitate my way, but not always the right someone. So I was in a massive depression and I was like not leaving my home for over 4 months. And apparently he moved in during that time.
I did.
And so I remember seeing you walk by my window before, but I wasn't really sure who you were. And honestly, I just didn't care. I was too wrapped up in my sadness. And so I am friends with a neighbor a few doors down. And so one day I ventured out of my home. I mean, it was at the point where people were making comments like they were going to have the police to do checks on me because I was never leaving my house. It was bad. And so I just ventured down to talk to her, and oh Lord Jesus, I looked like hell. I had on a wife beater. I don't even think I had on a bra. I don't know. Do you even remember?
I don't think you had on the bra.
Yeah, that's probably what you like. And I mean, no makeup, stringy hair. I look like hell. And maybe he thought, did you think, oh, that'd be an easy target?
I was just drunk.
Oh, and now he says that he was just drunk. And so I'm talking to my neighbor, and he happens to live right above her. So he came down the stairs, and he was with some other person. I didn't know who she was. So
And nobody.
they walked by, and I say to my neighbor, so what's up with the new guy? And she got really defensive on me. She was like, he's taken. And I was like, I don't.
Really wasn't, but
I have to stop it because obviously I've got to be careful of copyright because I don't own the copyright to that. I will I'll put down in the link underneath this video with the playlist so you can watch it if you want, but they are sexual, they're not asexual. But I just wanted to show you the quick playlist that they've gone throughout the years, and this is their actual ceremony. So this is like when they're six, like they've been together like 6 years, and this is when they did their ceremony. So they got a pagan ceremony going on. So this is only last year.
Welcome, and thank you for being here today to bear witness to the commitment that Aaron and Cree have chosen to make to one another. Watchers in the east, air elementals, I call you forth to guard and protect this circle. Be here now.
So I think you get the idea. Oh,
Fire elementals.
I'll turn that off. So I think you get the idea, you know. I just wanted to show you that obviously there are older women who are in relationship with younger guys, and if you watch their videos, they are